Belonging from a family that is dedicated to making machine looms and textile making machines, how did the concept of reviving Ashwal come to begin your journey as the weaving Patola queen?
In my father's company, which is a fantastic company, the systems are all set. So when I joined them, I had nothing else to do. Maybe some basic work, or I just felt that I was not required. My creativity was not getting engaged, and hence, when I saw the collection in Washington DC, I loved it so much, and I had not seen something like this ever in India. So I started working on this, and I think when I saw it, I fell in love with it. And I had not seen anything like this before in India also. And I felt that I knew it all. So, technology-wise, I was so enamored by it that on plain weave with extra weft, there was twill and jacquard going together. So I was like, wow. It was like, I had never seen something like this before. That twill and jacquard going together with the design, on the plain weave. So for me, it all was very fascinating. So that's and that was not possible on the machines. So that's how I just, as a natural procession, I just entered over here.
Wow. And I think there are a lot of people who inspire from the changes you've made to this art. And it's beautifully come on the Patola sarees. So that's beautiful.
No. Patola was a different journey.
Sorry.
Once I started working on Ashawal, the technological changes were done. And after that, I was just twiddling my toes because the karigars were the ones who were doing all the work. Once in jacquard or even in the Jala system, once the system is set, the designer has a very little role to play. It's the weaver who continues with the whole process. So me being dyslexic, I need something new every 5 minutes. I needed some stimulation. So that's when I started going to pattern. And when I saw that there is an amazing possibility, which is not explored, and at that time, there was only literally 1.5 weaver left. So I started working with them also. And it was like, for me, it was not very difficult to switch between the two because the technology is my forte. I believe that I can really work with technology well. So that's how I started in both the technologies now, simultaneously almost.
Wow, beautiful. And I think Patan is a very beautiful place. It just reminded me about a painting which I've done recently for a client where they are on Patan steps. So I think it's beautiful.
When you said well or in pattern, the steps, you mean Randki Wow steps?
The step well in Patan.
Yeah, the Randki Wow steps.
Yes. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Have you seen the carvings in the sides of Randki Wow?
I had been there somewhere close to when I was 24. So that must be around 6 years from now. So
they're still there.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
So those are amazing carvings from where the whole system of calculations have started. And that's a proof that we have that is where you can see how the design has evolved.
Wow. That's so beautiful to understand. Amazing. Yeah. So I'll go to my next question. My next question is, Patola weaving is a close guarded family tradition. And it is said that this technique is not to be taught to anyone except the sons. Did that fact ever play an impact on you, and how did you deal with that challenge? It'll be lovely if you can share an experience with us.
It used to be a closed regarded secret. Now there are a lot of training that is happening because I'm a woman. I went there and I opened the lock for them actually, for them to start new designs. Even today, very few people are able to introduce newer designs. And I was amazingly successful because I understand certain mathematical what you call calculations better than many other people. And I've started training a lot of people over there. And it's not something where it's very complex. It's just that you have to have the discipline to work on it. And that's all we had to develop. So it was not as if it was rocket science.
True. But did you face any challenge as a woman that you have been the pioneer, where you opened the lock for the other women in the industry to get into this field?
I opened the lock period, men or women at that time, because even men didn't see, they were constantly repeating since 12th century onwards. The designs which they were working on were all the repetition of the design. They might change the color a little, tweak a little, but the designs remain the same.
True.
Because when I started, my guru is Mrs. Popul Jaikar.
Okay.
My guru is Mr. Charles Rossellini.
Yes.
They have installed some systems in me where the thinking starts rather than this is. I don't accept things like this is. No, I keep on challenging it. I may not challenge it outside, but I keep on challenging that and find answers for myself. And that's exactly what I did over there.
Lovely.
So the challenges are in fact very stimulating for me. If there are no challenges, I find that very boring.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it is who you are today.
Anybody can be who I am today. They just need perseverance.
Yes, you need perseverance, and you also have to be fearless.
Okay, I will accept that.
Yes. Amazing. So I'm going to go to my third question. My third question is, when designing a particular material or fabric, what are the parameters you keep in mind? You set a theme or prefer standalone designs? And where do you get your inspiration from?
Too many questions at a time. Let's take one at a time. First thing that comes into my mind is, who's my customer?
Okay. Yes.
What will look good on her?
True.
If she doesn't look good, I don't look good. It's as simple as that. So she has to look the best for what occasion she's looking for. How many patolas she has in her collection. So there are so many different aspects to this. How is she going to be accessorizing it? What kind of stylization does she have in her personal life? And then so many questions. After that, what will look good on her? Considering so many other factors. After that, the design is worked out by me. Once I'm, say for example, just now, we're just in the process of creating a new design. This lady is petite, and on her, large designs would not work. And what we are trying to do is to ensure smaller motifs, smaller filling, smaller border, if at all, and small pallu. Because on her, the bigger motifs are not going to look good. Now, normally I like big border, having 3 sections with a corner setting. I mean, these are my normal this thing, but for her, I can't do that.
True.
So I have to create a totally new design for her, creating smaller designs. And that's exactly what we are planning to do for her.
Amazing.
So, I mean, there are a variety of factors. And after that, you have to consider the skills of the karigar, whether he will be able to do that, or does he have training to do that or not. After that, the quality of raw material that is required, what is the budget of the client. Now, so many different things are there which will kind of dictate the terms, rather than saying that I have designed it. No, it's the circumstances which make me design certain things.
True, true. Beautifully said. It's inculcating the philosophy of the person itself. So amazing.
It's about them. It's not about Belaa Sanghvi's personality.
True.
It's their personality and what will look good on them. I'm not trying to show off the skills of my karigars. I'm trying to show off the person looking good. Once
True.
they look good, our karigars also look good, because our karigars' capacity to do work is amazingly fantastic and precise. We've trained them to this level so that they can create fantastic work. Now, the time has come to consider more about the wearer.
True.
Amongst the crowd of, say, 100, how do we make sure that they stand out? It takes years of experience to make sure that they stand out. And it should not be, hey, I'm there, kind of a standout. It has to be believably natural in terms of standing out.
Agreed.
There are amazing amount of nuances which are required to create a good quality patola.
Yes.
Or any good saree, for that matter.
True, very true. Amazing, amazingly said. Looks like with the products and with the artistic skills which we have. Beautifully said. That's quite inspiring.
And yet being very loyal to the technology. We don't change the technology. We don't compromise in terms of technology.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. So giving 100% to whatever you have.
Exactly.
Amazing. So I'll go to my next question now. You have not just transformed a tradition of Patola sarees. You have also been experimenting on different kinds of designs and brought together a team to manifest the design. How did the thought of combining mathematical concept of Fibonacci series with Patola sarees come?
In Patola itself, Fibonacci series is already there.
True.
But to create something in Fibonacci series itself was a huge challenge for us. It's the challenge of calculations. And the calculations are very different.
Agreed.
So we wanted to highlight that. And that challenge, I picked it up reasonably well. So it just worked out well because it was the right time for the right collection to happen. So, but I still believe that Fibonacci series connects extremely well to certain, especially in Patola, because it's the inherent calculations. First of all, I love challenges. The more difficult challenges, it has to be very interesting.
True.
And yet challenged. See, the karigars are all very well trained. So they're used to certain things. Okay, if it is Nari Gunjar, they know how to do this. If it is Navratna, they know how to do this. So they're all set in the system. How do I challenge them further? So, and how do I challenge myself further? Because
True.
one tends to become complacent after some time.
True.
And hence I started this Fibonacci series where the challenges are amazingly great. The patola that I'm talking about for the lady who is petite, that
Yes.
is also a very, very challenging experiment that we are working on. Once it comes out, I'll show it to you.
Wow.
But these are, I love to shake things up once in a while so that the interest of the karigar and to challenge the karigar, they will enjoy that challenge.
Yes.
Because they're so used to certain things that it becomes, just as it becomes
Monotonous.
boring for me, it becomes boring for them also.
True. True.
So you have to keep on challenging them in one way or the other. And this is one of my ways.
Wow.
And of course, I Fibonacci series design.
That's really inspiring, and I think we should all challenge ourselves, and that itself will bring a lot of learning. And you may never know, you must have created something different which nobody else has created ever before. And
also, I believe that each generation has
yes,
left their signature on different what you call different styles.
true.
What is my generation's signature?
True.
Time will tell whether this is a signature or just one of the passing phases. But this is what I'm thinking, that the history has been fantastic. But what about today? What are we bringing on the table today?
Agreed.
And that's the real reason for the Fibonacci series.
Wow, lovely. But while you've spoken about your signature, your signature is already there. You're known amongst a lot of people, and you're known amongst my generation as well. So I think your signature goes way beyond. So yeah.
That's not my signature. My signature is still coming. Just now, I'm in the process of revival work. Once the revival is over, say, what happens in the revival process, because certain things are so endangered, you can't experiment in that process. Now we are almost coming out of the endangered list, according to us. We are not looking for the endangered list from outside. So slowly, we are now experimenting with amazingly new designs. Earlier designs were just shifting things from one place to the other and making sure that the karigar gets used to creating newer designs. Now he's ready for new designs. And we have other people who can do traditional stuff. So now we are ready to introduce new things. One has to be very responsible when one is talking about the revival work. And these are my self-imposed rules for myself, that when I'm talking about revival work, I have to be first honest to the tradition, honest to the lifestyle where this tradition is utilized.
True.
Now, Fibonacci series is not honest to the lifestyle.
Okay.
And yet I have a market for it. So
yes,
this there is a possibility of leaving a signature there.
Okay.
So that is when I would experiment, very, very with single, say for example, with weft patola. I've experimented a lot and I continue to experiment. But those are single patolas where I have obtained numbers of karigars who can create whatever I want.
True.
So there, I'm not challenged. It's in the double space where the challenge happens. So in that double patola space, I'm very, very restrictive of what kind of new designs I bring in.
Correct.
And I challenge myself in such a way that we don't deviate too much
Yes.
from the look of Patola,
Yes.
and the lifestyle continues. So
Agreed.
it's a very delicate balance that we are trying to maintain over here.
Wow. Okay.
And most of the people don't understand this.
Yes.
Border nikal do, palla nikal do, corner
Yeah.
nikal do.
True.
We don't do any of those things. We are very loyal to certain things unless we are having a karigar who can handle all this.
Amazing.
So now we have the karigars who are trained to that level by us, that now they can handle certain things.
Amazing. So while you had said from the conversation where you had mentioned endangered, so what do you mean by the endangered bit of it? Is it for the artisans or is it the heritage?
Both.
Okay.
Say, for example, when you have 5 karigars,
Yes.
you don't want to experiment
True.
because you want to perpetuate. You want to make sure that the cultural
Is.
connectivity
Yes.
with the Patola technology stays. The consumer has something in their mind. Oh, this is Patola. So when they wear it, it's recognized as. So when you have 5 people, that means at the most you will be able to create 10 pieces.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Whereas when the number is increased and 1 or 2 karigars are getting bored, you can afford to experiment.
Okay.
Because and if you have the market for those appropriate markets, say for example, I will never sell it to somebody who's buying for the first time. They
True.
will not be my customer for Fibonacci.
Yes.
People who there are people who have 22 pieces by me or 30 pieces by me. I will sell something like Fibonacci to them because they understand the value of whatever that we have created. It's the new signature.
Wow.
But at the same time, we are very conscious that this is new. This is not traditional. So
Yes.
anybody who's buying the pattern patola for the first time, I want the next generation and the next generation and the next generation to wear it.
True.
And
Yes.
their generations may not be ready for Fibonacci to understand as a pattern patola.
True. Beautiful.
So these are certain impacts that I am very conscious about. And hence, my reactions are also such.
Amazing. That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
So I shall go to my next question. My next question is, art is always evolving. We artists have come a long way. There are customers who always prefer the traditional saris designed by our ancestors, as they call it a vintage collection. While some prefer new experiments or designs, as you said, or advancements, what's your take on the customer's behavior? So you,
Uh, yeah. Whatever the customer wants is what I will give them. But they have to be mature enough to understand what I am creating for them. Now, if they're just looking at pattern patola, oh, okay, somebody else has a pattern patola, so I'll get a pattern patola. So they are not mature enough to understand what they are buying.
true.
They're just looking at things. Oh, this is attractive. It will look nice on me. They'll put it on them, and then they will kind of go for it or not go for it.
True.
But
True.
they don't understand the nuances which I have put into it. Even if I explain, yeah, okay, just pack this up, or finish this for me. Something of that kind happens. So
Yes.
for such people, we do create traditional pieces. That's exactly what I was trying to tell you, that
Yeah, you had.
to them, we don't give them the newer designs because that is where they are. Say, for example, if I tell you that if I have designed a very creative contemporary design in my jewelry.
Okay.
Now, when I have enough of traditional jewelry, that is when I'll be looking for "Arey, kuch naya banana." I'm getting bored with whatever I
Yeah.
have. So that's
Yes.
when I want something new, right?
True.
But I still want that uh whatever the new piece that I would create,
Ye-
I want the next generation and the next generation and the next generation to appreciate it.
True.
When they receive it and when they wear it, they should be able to enjoy it. So
Yeah.
I'm all for classicism. I don't like to have these stupid kuch bhi chalta hai attitude, but it's very well thought of. But we do create interesting pieces for the next generation also.
That's
But
amazing.
we are not having this. When I was young, I used to love the punk attitude. I think
Yes.
I've grown out of it.
Yeah, I think all of us have been through that phase. Yeah.
We need to appreciate what is right for me.
Yes.
We need to. There was a time in 2002, I had written 2002 at the back of my head in with my haircut.
Okay.
uh,
Interesting.
yeah, but then that's when I realized that, okay, after 5 days anyway it's going to grow, so what's the whole point? My
True.
statement is made, so it's over. So then you grow up and say that, oh, okay, no, my long hair is fine. It depends on where you are in your life. And I think I've experimented with different colors in my life. 7 colors. There was a time when I had 7 colors in my hair. So
Okay.
all this I've experimented. Now I have grown to a different level where classicism is attracting me.
Wow.
But don't think that I can not go back to that stage.
True,
I
true.
can go back
As
to
a,
that stage anytime.
yes.
I'm crazy enough to do all this.
No, I think you're an artist. So
But that's where you need that craziness
true.
that inspires you to.
And I think as an artist, I'm sure that, while you're getting into different genres amongst the different journeys or different dimensions of your life, as you said, I'm sure that, it's a cycle which comes from above also, that, it literally comes and
Yeah, it
flows.
comes. It comes. And when it flows, it flows. Nothing can
True.
stop me at that time. Just now I'm going through green phase.
Okay.
There is so much of greenery in my life that I'm constantly thinking green. And I'm like, no, I'm consciously, deciding not to think green. Customers who want green. So it depends.
Interesting.
I accept them.
Wow, that's pretty interesting because you're attracting the same frequency of green from the
Yeah,
customers as well.
yeah, yeah. It's happening. And I just don't know why.
So
But
I'm inquisitive about something while you have said that while you are attracted to green, I had read this article. Um, it was long ago, it was years ago when I was an HR, human resource. And that time I had read the article that there are change makers. And change makers, they are either intuitive or there are change makers who go with the practical flow of life rationally. So I had read this article where they say that change makers basically sometimes, where an artist had said that, it sometimes comes intuitively with what is trending in the market and it just flows. So would you like to say more about this?
I don't like to follow the market.
True.
I want to create my own path.
To set the trend. Yes.
I don't care if it doesn't set the trend also, because
True.
this is something which is my interpretation of my
Yeah.
customer's need.
Yes.
This has nothing to do with what is trending. Uh, Now, for this girl who is 5 foot nothing,
Yes.
the trend may be of 10-inch border. I can't give it to her. On
Agree.
her, it's not going to look good.
True.
So I don't follow trends. I follow what works for my clients.
True.
I don't want people to say, "Oh, you're wearing a Belaa Sanghvi saree." It's an insult to me,
True. True.
because as a designer, I'm supposed to go beyond Belaa Sanghvi, and I'm supposed to give them what is good for them. It's like the interior decorator designing your house with his stamp. I
Agreed.
don't want my stamp on my. I don't. In fact, a lot of people say, "Oh, I saw her wearing a sari and she was looking fabulous." That's a good compliment. But when they're saying your sari was fabulous, and they think that they're paying me a compliment, they're not. I want the person should look good, her best, and not Belaa Sanghvi's sari. That's why most of the time, a lot of people will not even know that this is designed by me.
Wow.
But I don't mind as long as they look their best. Recently, I think I posted it on Facebook also. Recently, I designed for a wonderful lady,
True.
and
Yes.
uh, she loved the sari. And actually, I believe in this, that even if it is a 200 rupee sari, if you love it, you will look good in it. And
True.
when she bought it itself, she was in love with it. I created the blouse for it also. And she flaunted it on the social media.
Yes.
And while she was doing all this, she said, I've never received so many compliments on my looks. And a lot of people are saying that I was looking fabulous that day. Now, for me, that's a very good compliment, that she was looking her best. Till that point, she had not identified what would look good. She was actually standing with two young girls,
Yes.
and yet everyone was looking at her and not at two young girls wearing trendy clothes.
Wow.
To me, that's the biggest compliment.
I think that's the best feeling as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. That was really, it felt good that this woman who is in her late 40s, early 50s,
Yes.
and with her two bahus, she's standing in the middle and she is stealing the show.
Sure.
That
That's a
that was a biggest compliment, and it didn't even need to be said. A lot of
agreed.
people commented on it, but it didn't even need to be said. The photograph said it all.
Yes.
And to me, that's the best way of being.
That's amazing.
Not that you keep on harping yourself, oh, this is my sari and this is what. She only had to tell me that, oh, I received so, and socially she said it in so many words, that it's the best look she has ever had. It's a good compliment for me.
Wow. I would love, I'm very curious and intrigued to now see that. Sorry.
Oh, go through my social media, you'll find that.
I surely will. um, so understanding from interviewing you, it's very rare to, and very there are very few people who are genuine to themselves. And as you said that there are a lot of people who keep harping about their brand and saying this is, I'm
No,
not going
nothing wrong with that. Sales is needed.
to
I'm not
sales,
trying to say that, yeah.
one
But
sales.
I'm not into this. Yeah.
No. I agree. So while doing the sales, they keep harping that, okay, this is what the design I have made, and this itself is what is going to continue. But it's very rare to see a person who loves challenges and they keep experimenting and learning out of it. And it's very rare to find somebody who's so true to themselves. And that is quite inspiring. So, my last question for that is that you have been a change maker in the beginning of your journey. In the textile industry, what is your advice to the youth belonging from every industry who are both artists and non artists?
Very simple. Buy handloom, handicrafts, and khadi. Wear handloom, handicrafts, and khadi. Flaunt it on social media. Handloom, handicrafts, and khadi.
Amazing.
Simple. Everything else will come back to you, because I do believe that that is what is creating trends, exposure. To
True.
understand what one is looking at. Today's audience want to understand the details of what they're buying.
True.
Earlier, most of the time, they'll just come to the studio and say, pack it up, not even knowing what it is.
Yes.
I had a customer, I think years back, when I had created for the first time a new design. It's a historical piece.
Yes.
I had a presentation at DNA
Okay.
to show the presentation, on this particular piece. Suddenly, my regular customer comes in, very, very rich, very, very, a regular customer. So you
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
she says, Belaa ji, बेटे की शादी फिक्स हुई है, बहू के लिए मुझे बेस्ट साड़ी चाहिए. No, she didn't know what is a best saree.
True.
Normally, I pack everything up except the patolas are always in my hand. I don't check it in. So I had only the patolas. Everything was already in London at that time. So I told her that I have only patolas. They're quite expensive. So that inspired her even more. मेरी बहू के लिए कुछ भी चलेगा.
Okay.
So I started showing her the patolas. Now, when it came to that patola, I quoted 3 times more price because I wanted to save it for the presentation. I didn't want to sell it to anybody. So,
True.
it was just a tactic to avoid sales. Not that I wanted to charge her more or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that unfortunately caught her attention. अरे
Yeah.
वाह, मेरी बहू तो यही डिजर्व करती. I was like, okay. But the engagement was supposed to be within a week's time. So I could go to London, make the presentation and come. Fortunately for me, all this was very well documented. So I said, okay, take it with a lot of reluctance. I said that. And I did my show. The jaws were there. All that it was really appreciated that, oh, you did a good job. So, and I got the orders from there also. Blah, 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 all that. I come back to Bombay and she comes from Delhi. And behind her, the driver comes with a package.
Yes.
And she started talking that, Belaa ji, aap manenge nahi. मैंने क्या किया वो पटोला? And that's when my heart started sinking. Some stupid designer who didn't know what the patola was all about felt that there was not enough zari.
Okay.
So he embroidered the whole patola.
Oh no.
Yeah. And cut up the patola and made a ghagra out of it. The umbrella kind of a ghagra.
Okay.
That's the last piece I have sold that lady. I don't want to sell to such people who don't understand that she had an historical piece in her hand. So I'm very choosy about who buys which patola. I'm very, very particular that such pieces cannot. I have a brand called Future Antiques.
Okay.
Now, Future Antiques pieces are not for everybody. Obviously, the prices are high, but much more than the
Yeah.
prices being high, people don't understand what it is all about.
True.
We don't want to sell such people, and it's okay. It's not something where they are also dying to reach that price point. So
Yeah.
they're okay with the regular pieces, and they're okay with. But for the future antiques customers, we are very finicky about who do we sell those future antique pieces to.
Yes.
It's not for everybody.
Agreed.
Now, to that level, I'm passionate.
Wow.
So I think I may not be the most popular designer. It's
I
okay.
no, I think a lot of people know you. So I'm sure that you are quite popular.
I'm not going after that. What am I going for is the quality.
The quality and your art.
Yeah, and people understanding that art.
True.
Even as an artist, I'm an artist myself. I do a lot of textile murals. Even as an artist, I don't take any commission. I make sure that when I love the piece, I create such pieces. So if you go on
Wow.
my social media pages, you will see a lot of art also, which has been created by us. And we have a special team of karigars who are working on that. Now, if one is looking at home decor, we are doing a lot of customized home decor. But
Oh,
that's not something what we flaunt on the social media. Because once the thing is fixed in their mind, they want the same thing, and we don't want to create the same. There is
true.
enough creativity in the world that we don't even have to copy ourselves. So
True.
it's a
True.
very different way of being.
Agreed.
Most of the designers want to just create things in large quantities. We are not interested.
True. That's quite inspiring. So ideally, I must have not told you I am an artist myself. I paint
Wow.
on this. So I
Wow.
think it's been quite inspiring for me as well because many a times we get lost in the world where we want to just do something to come up, or many a times we get lost where we just want to earn at a particular point of time. I'm being
And
very
fair enough. Fair
so
enough.
you know getting inspired from you. I mean, I myself, I feel that this is so genuine and this is so enjoyable what you do, and it's inspiring me to follow. I mean, of course, I'm not in the same genre as your field. I paint on canvases and walls, but it, of course, motivates me to be genuine to my art. And I think that is amazing. And I think that's an honor that, I could get the opportunity having to speak to you and having the opportunity to, you know, meet you. And I think that's huge.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Anybody who understands this viewpoint, it's a pleasure because most of the time they're talking about kya bikta hai, that kind of a
True,
thing.
true.
I'm not into all this. Not that it's a wrong question. Please don't misunderstand me.
No, no.
It's the right question. But at the same time, I want to create pieces which are selling itself. I don't have to sell them.
True, true.
Having said that, I do explain the technology. I do explain in my post, if you notice, I do explain the reasoning behind it. But it's not necessarily always that I'll do that. I just need my expression. That's all.
True.
And people loving it. My main this thing is bottom line. Say, for example, if it is a sari, it
Yes.
should look their best. If it is a home, just now I've just finished one design on whatever you must have seen it on social media. The water
Yes.
element.
Yes.
Now, this lady is in Kerala.
Okay.
And she's just bought a new flat with a beautiful vision of the Kerala backwaters and the Kerala Sea. So
Wow.
the whole, the elements of water, it's almost like it's in the front like this, and then it extends to that whole view of the river, the backwater, and extending to the sea. So that itself becomes a statement.
Yes.
And to me, that works very well. That inspires me.
Wow.
What is the circumstances that they are in? uh Not just that, oh, I mean, she was so sweet, create whatever you want. Yeah, no, for me, God has been nice to me. I
Touch
think,
wood.
touch wood, that they allow me to do whatever, because they have full confidence that whatever concept that they have, I have a better concept.
True.
So, and they've put that faith in me, so I
Love.
created that. They are in love with it. And
Wow.
I have a team of karigars who can create fantastic work of art from my concept. So the translation also happens well. So it has worked out very well. And the whole colorful wall, and yet the water element colors are used, shifting towards the water element, towards the sea eventually. I think that has, on its own, it has worked out on its own. It just
Beautiful.
works out. I'm not struggling with it.
True.
And I think that is what how it should be.
Yes, I totally agree. When it comes genuinely and when it comes from here, it flows. I
I
totally,
believe
yes.
universe always sends me somebody.
Yes. I mean, that's beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally
So
that. Yes.